Part 31. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Depang. Chapter 305. Chang Sun Genjiang had problems with his alchemy before. But he had never had such a serious problem. The most important thing was that he happened to catch up with the attack of Greenwater Bay Town this time. At the same time, he felt the incarnation of disaster in his mind, which was tightly entangled with his soul. Chang Sun Genjiang's heart suddenly moved. He thought of the scene in the past when he had just refined the 5-colored pure spirit pill and Chen Ronghuo said that there was a problem with the pill he refined and asked if he should sell it to him. He knew it a long time ago. Chang Sun Genjiang gritted his teeth. Second uncle, what's going on? At this time, Chang Sun felt the incarnation of disaster in his mind, and instantly thought of the scene that day when Chen Ronghuo summoned the behemoth that was bigger than the mountain and created a terrible disaster. At this time, she was also dressed in green, and her body became extremely tall, completely without the heroic spirit before. The long sword in her hand was like a toothpick in her hand at this time. If her clothes were not a special secret treasure and did not collapse as her body grew larger, I am afraid that this time, she, the female warrior of Beiwu City, would have completely lost face in front of the people of the whole city. It's Chen Ronghuo. Chang Sun Genjiang, whose sweat hairs even grew thicker and greener like an inverted poison arrow, took a deep breath. And after he finished speaking, his body, which had just grown larger, shrank rapidly with a whoosh and returned to its original size. It was just green, but it did not fade at all. The effect of the green blood pill has expired, and the next few days are all side effects. At this time, Chang Sun Genjiang can still exert some of his strength. But his current strength is probably not as good as that of a third-level cultivator. At the same time, when Chang Sun Genjiang's body shrank, countless people in Beiwu City who had just grown larger also shrank rapidly and returned to their original appearance. Among these people, except for the three brothers Chang Sun Yi and Chang Sun Ping, the strength of the others has declined, and many of them are no different from ordinary people. At the same time, these people, like Chang Sun Genjiang, were all green. Even their clothes were green. And all the walls and other things in the entire Beiwu City were dyed green, and the green did not fade. At this moment, the entire Beiwu City was in chaos. All the guards who were originally standing on the city wall sat on the ground because of their weak bodies. A few miles away from Beiwu City, tall and not deliberately shrinking, Ho San, who was 3 meters tall, held a black iron stick and led the 500 magic ape army, exuding a monstrous fighting spirit, and quickly marched towards Beiwu City. After this period of cultivation, Ho San's cultivation has reached the peak of the 3rd level, and he is not far from the 4th level. Because of the practice of the Earth Ape Demon art, his cultivation growth is linked to the magic ape army under his command. The more subordinates he has, the faster he cultivates, and his cultivation speed will also increase. At the same time, the higher his cultivation, the faster his subordinates will cultivate. Of course, due to the limitations of the Earth Ape magic power, with his current cultivation, he could only respond to 1,000 men for the time being. On his right, Zhangji, with a wretched expression, also led 500 women from the Black Silk Corps and ran quickly. The women of the Black Silk Corps were not as strong as the Demon Ape Corps in terms of overall strength. But in terms of speed, they were not inferior to the Demon Ape Corps. The two armies ran past each other quickly at a distance of several miles. Stop. When they were still 400 or 500 meters away from Beiwu City, Ho San glared, raised the ape stick in his hand, and asked all his men to stop behind him. Zhang Ji also waved his hand and asked his Black Silk Corps to stop. Then Ho San and Zhang Ji looked at each other, both showing a look of doubt. At this time, Beiwu City, in their eyes, showed a patch of miserable green, and it was silent, as if there was no one in the whole city. Even when they looked up at the wall of Beiwu City, they could not see a single person. Zhang Ji asked, Lord Ho, what do you think Beiwa City is doing? Could it be that they knew we were coming and set up some traps in advance? Ho-san nodded, it's possible. Let's not act rashly, wait until the Lord comes. After he finished speaking, he immediately sent someone to quickly inform Chen Ronghuo of the matter. Under the control of the big river crab before, the distance between Greenwater Bay Town and Beiwa City is only a few dozen miles. Ridging on a fat cat, Chen Ronghuo, who was running with the 5,000 troops led by Wang Chao, soon arrived at the front of the team where Ho San and Zhang Ji were, together with Wang Chao, after receiving the news. Lord seeing Chen Ronghuo, Ho San, and Zhang Ji hurried forward to greet him. Ho San said, "We just arrived here and found that Beiwa City has become like this. Because I was worried about accidents, I didn't send anyone to investigate without authorization." Chen Ronghuo nodded and set his eyes on Beiwa City in the distance. White Mist City died by the mutant version of green blood pill. The green color cannot be removed by ordinary methods. After identifying the properties of White Mist City, Chen Ronghuo immediately showed a strange look on his face. In fact, when he learned about the changes in White Mist City from his subordinates, he had already made some deductions on this matter through ancient books, and the result of the deduction. Chen Ronghuo raised his head, glanced at White Mist City, and then waved his hand and said, "I know what is going on in White Mist City. You lead the team and follow me into the city." Yes. Everyone agreed and immediately followed Chen Ronghuo, heading towards Beiwa City. Rumble. As the army marched, a heavy sound was heard from the ground, which spread far into Beiwa City. However, there was no reaction in Beiwa City. Boom. When approaching Beiwa City, Chen Ronghuo waved his hand, and the true energy condensed after reaching the 4th level was released, turning into a fierce gust of wind. When it blew, the huge gate of Beiwa City made a loud noise and collapsed to the ground. Trample, tumble. The army marched into Beiwa City. But Beiwa City was in a mess. There were only a few naked green figures with some green damaged cloth hanging on their bodies, trying to find a place to hide. Led by Chen Ronghuo, the army of Lushwiven Town rushed straight to the Lord's mansion of Beiwa City. All the situations they encountered along the way were like this. In addition, many buildings in Beiwa City were like a group of huge monsters that suddenly appeared, and they were destroyed violently, leaving ruins everywhere. Ho San and Zhang Ji, who had thought that all this was a trap set by Beiwa City, looked at each other in bewilderment. I don't know what happened in Beiwa City. Did they encounter a powerful demon attacking the city? But it doesn't seem like it. Soon, while rushing, the Lord's mansion of Beiwa City appeared in front of everyone. Su Chen, the commander of the Beiwa City Guards, greets Lord Chen in front of the Lord's mansion of Beiwa City, a warrior wearing green armor and with a green body, with a stern face, stopped Chen Ronghuo and others, and said in a deep voice, "Our city lord is in the Lord's mansion, and I hope to have a private talk with Lord Chen." Okay. Chen Ronghuo smiled and agreed. He was not afraid of any tricks played by the Changsun family. At this time, Beiwa City, or the Changsun family, had no other choice but to surrender. Lord. However, Wang Chao and others did not know the specific situation of Beiwa City. When they heard Chen Ronghuo's agreement, they were a little anxious and wanted to persuade him. Don't worry. Chen Ronghuo waved his hand. Then he signaled Su Cheng to lead the way and walked towards the city lord's mansion where a large area of ruins also appeared. This time, we will finally completely master the Black and White Mist Island. Chen Ronghuo's eyes showed a trace of excitement. At the same time, because of this incident, he also knew the power of the law of robbery. Although the power of the law of robbery has its limitations and it is impossible to be so powerful every time, Chen Ronghuo still has great expectations for it. It can be imagined that in the future, when his cultivation is high, if some people want to deal with him, if they are not strong enough, they don't need him to do it. I am afraid that those who have bad intentions towards him will kill themselves. There is really no way during the new year. I was in my hometown before and I am not at home now. The update is too slow. I will speed up the update after I go home in a few days. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 306. Chen Ronghuo followed Su Cheng and walked towards the city lord's mansion in Beiwa City. While walking along the way, he could feel the breath of the law of tribulation between heaven and earth, feeding back to him. Under the feedback of the aura of the law of tribulation, his thoughts became very clear. The understanding of the mysteries of the law of calamity in his mind became deeper and deeper. At the same time, his understanding of the law of disaster and the law of fire also increased rapidly. Chen Ronghuo possesses a calamity body. The so-called calamity body is a special physique formed by the joint action of the law of calamity and the law of calamity. Under the influence of this special constitution, the deeper his understanding of the law of calamity becomes, the more deeply he understands the law of calamity. Will also rise with the rising tide. At the same time, because of the natural disaster demon flame in the sea of his soul, which is shaped like a sea of black and red flame clouds, he has made progress in the law of disaster, and his understanding of the law of flame will also progress rapidly. Generally speaking, this is also the true role of special constitutions. In other words, it allows people to practice and master the power of multiple laws without expending too much energy. In the Lord's mansion of White Mist City, the 5 members of the Changsun family gathered together with ugly expressions. Since Changsun Zhengjiang's cultivation reached the peak of the 4th level, Changsun Yi broke through to the mid-level of the 4th level, and Changsun Ping and the 3 brothers broke through to the early 4th level, the confidence of the 5 of them has greatly increased, and they have the ambition to unify the merged black and white Kiris Hima. Ambition. But they never expected that just when they were all confident, their whole family would suddenly and inexplicably lose. Compared with the horrific impact Changsun Zhengjiang's failure to refine the green blood pill had on them, what made them even more desperate was the sudden appearance of the 9-headed thousand beings in the sea of their souls, and they were tightly intertwined with their souls. The Han's disaster incarnate. They didn't know what the incarnation of disaster could do, but it was obviously not a good thing if Chen Ronghuo put this thing into their soul sea. Tread. At this time, accompanied by the sound of footsteps, Chen Ronghuo followed Su Cheng, the guard commander of Beiwa City, and walked slowly into the hall with a calm momentum. Su Cheng stopped at the door. Walking into the hall, Chen Ronghuo looked at the 5 members of the eldest son's family who were all wearing masks and wearing gloves on their hands, and his expression suddenly showed a slight strangeness. At the same time, he glanced at the 5 people and identified all their attributes. Chang Sun Gengjiang, Level 4 Peak Dan Fire Warlock. Special Ability 1, Innate Elixir Fire, Proficient in Elixir Refining. Special Ability 2, Possessed by Disaster. When you take action, and the elixir you refine, there is a certain chance that it will have disaster attributes. Master the secrets of the law of yin and yang and the secrets of the law of fire. Status: due to the side effects of taking green blood pill, its strength will drop significantly in the next 3 days. The green stains inside and outside his body can be eliminated in 10 days by using Genkai. Without using Qi to expel it, the green color can dissipate automatically after a month. Note: as the source of the power of disaster, you can take back the incarnation of disaster that is entangled with its soul. After taking back the incarnation of disaster, it will suffer soul trauma that is difficult to recover, and its strength will be greatly reduced. Changsun Yi, a mid-level 4th level warrior. Kung Fu, Changsun Wuju. Special Ability, Disaster Possession. Master the law of the sword and the law of wind. After identifying the attributes of the 5 people, Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed and he did not take the initiative to speak. Lord Chen. Seeing Chen Ronghuo walking into the hall, the eldest grandson Gengjiang was silent for a moment and said in a deep voice, the winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. You have won this time. I wonder what you are going to do with our eldest grandson family. Chen Ronghuo glanced at the 5 members of the Changsun family. There was no gloating or joking. After glancing at the 5 people, he set his sights on Changsun Genjiang and said with a smile, "From now on, I will be the only master of Black and White Kiri Island, so the statue of the Lord of White Mist City must be destroyed. But I have a good relationship with Changsun Gengzin, so if you are loyal to me, I can hand over Beiwu City to your Changsun family for continued management. Continue to hand over Beiwu City to the management of our eldest grandson family." The 5 members of the eldest son's family were all startled when they heard this. Originally, they thought that their souls had been manipulated by Chen Ronghuo. It would be nice if Chen Ronghuo did not use this as a threat and let them become free cannon fodder. But they didn't expect that Chen Ronghuo actually proposed to let them continue to manage Beiwu City. After looking at the expressions of several people, Chen Ronghuo once again set his sights on Changsun Genjiang and continued, "Besides that, I hope you can get my Lushwiven town and serve as the master of the alchemy hall of my Lushwiven town." Changsun Genjiang frowned, "Lord Chen, I'm afraid you still don't know that the reason why our Beiwu City is like this time is because I refined a kind of elixir. When I refine elixirs, problems often arise. Are you sure you want me to be the master of the alchemy hall in Lushwiven town?" Haha. Chen Ronghuo suddenly smiled, looked at his eldest grandson Genjiang and said, "Don't you think there was something wrong with your refining of the green blood pill this time? It was too much of a coincidence." "What a coincidence that something went wrong." Changsun Genjiang was startled, but then, his pupils suddenly shrank. Chen Ronghuo's words are already very obvious. In addition, Changsun Genjiang thought that although he had had problems with his alchemy before, it had never been such a big problem. He still didn't understand why the problems he had with his alchemy this time were probably closely related to Chen Ronghui. But no matter what Zhangsun Genjiang thought, he still couldn't understand how Chen Ronghuo affected his alchemy. "Call out." At this time, Chen Ronghuo waved his hand and suddenly took out a handwritten booklet and threw it to Changsun Genjiang. When Changsun Genjiang subconsciously took the booklet, Chen Ronghuo said calmly, "I have countless alchemy formulas and a large number of alchemy techniques in my hands, and what is recorded in this booklet is only a small part of them. This small part is considered as the reward I give you in advance." "Pay me in advance?" Changsun Genjiang opened the booklet and looked at it carefully. At first he was a little disapproving, but as he read it, the look on his face became more and more dignified and excited. Only as an alchemist, he knew how valuable this booklet was. At this time, Zhang Sunyi, who was wearing a silver-white mask and wrapped himself tightly without revealing a trace of skin, suddenly said, "Lord Chen, if we are loyal to you, we don't know that my father. I have long said that you can go to Greenwater Bay Town to see your father at any time." Chen Ronghuo interrupted Chang Sunyi and said, "In fact, I have mentioned you to your father before this. However, I once told you that the price for extending his life is to have a clear mind. Therefore, when I told him that I wanted to take action against Beiwu City, he just asked me to spare your lives." The 3 brothers Chang Sunyi and Chang Sunping looked at each other with expressions of helplessness and desolation. Things have reached this point, and Chen Ronghuo obviously has no need to deceive them anymore. Although they still feel unwilling to lose to Chen Ronghuo and have to be loyal to Chen Ronghuo from now on, they also understand the principle of winning as a king and losing as a bandit. And when things got here, it was obvious that they were at their wits' end. At this time, it was lucky for a few of them to be able to save their lives. Thinking like this, they all looked towards Changsun Genjiang. Changsun Genjiang happened to look away from the pamphlet in his hand at this time. He suppressed the shock in his heart caused by this booklet, stood up immediately, bowed to Chen Ronghuo and said, "I have met the Lord. Since then, White Mist City has been owned by the Lord." Seeing this scene, The 4 eldest grandsons also took a deep breath, walked to both sides of eldest grandson Gengzhang, and saluted Chen Ronghuo. "I have seen the Lord." Chen Ronghuo stood calmly in the field, but his eyes were a little wandering. When the 5 people bowed like this, the breath of the law of calamity that came back to him from heaven and earth suddenly rushed into his soul sea like a river that burst its embankment. Fused with the origin of the law of calamity in his soul sea. In an instant, he seemed to be wandering in the ocean of laws. His understanding of the law of tribulation, the law of disaster, and the law of fire surged significantly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 307. Tap tap. More than 10 minutes later, Wang Chao and Ho San, who had been waiting anxiously, finally saw Chen Ronghuo, dressed in a black and red robe, calmly walking out of the city lord's mansion of Beiwu City. Behind Chen Ronghuo, the 5 people of the Changsun family, led by Changsun Gengzhang, and Su Chang, who had just led the way, also walked out. At this time, the green in the bodies of Changsun Gengzhang and others had all been touched out by Chen Ronghuo with his left hand. So at first glance, except for a little weak paleness, the faces of several people looked no different from normal people. After Chen Ronghuo came out, he nodded to Wang Chao and others, and then walked towards the statue of the Lord of Beiwu City in the square in front of the Lord's mansion. The statue of the Lord of Beiwu City looks like Changsun Ping. After Changsun Zhengzin left, the entire Beiwu City has been managed by Changsun Ping. The children of Changsun Zhengzin have a deep affection for each other, and there is no struggle for power or profit. Seeing Chen Ronghuo walk to the Lord's statue of Beiwu City and put his left hand on it, Changsun Gengzhang and others behind him showed a bitter look on their faces. But this is the best ending for them. After Chen Ronghuo put his left hand on the Lord's statue of Changsun Ping, he began to touch the various attributes in it, especially the divine attribute, one by one. At this time, the breath of the law of calamity that was fed back to him between heaven and earth has not ended. A large amount of breath of the law of calamity rushed into his soul sea, and immersed Chen Ronghuo's mind with an extremely attractive posture. It made his perception of various laws change from walking at the beginning to riding a motorcycle. Boom! At a certain moment, a muffled thunder seemed to sound in Chen Ronghuo's mind. As the thunder sounded, in his mind, the 3 mysteries of the law of catastrophe, the law of disaster, and the law of fire, which were combined at some unknown time, quietly changed. It became more complicated and mysterious. And this change also means that Chen Ronghuo has reached the middle stage of the 4th level in these 3 laws. However, the cultivation above the 4th level is not only to cultivate the law, but also to purify the power in the body and increase its amount. But compared with these 2 points, the cultivation of the law is undoubtedly put first. Chen Ronghuo raised his head and glanced at the sky. Generally speaking, when the power of the law is promoted, the power in the body will be purified soon. Just like now, his soul power is rapidly purified under the effect of the power of the law after the transformation. So what he has to do next is to increase the amount of soul power. After raising his head, Chen Ronghuo set his eyes on the blue lightning thunderbirds in the sky. Now he only waits to return to Green Water Bay Town. After a little preparation, he will kill these blue lightning thunderbirds, and he will officially reach the middle stage of the 4th level. Now, because his strength is not enough, he can only be considered as a half step to the middle stage of the 4th stage. Just like Changsun Zhengzin back then. When Changsun Zhengzin realized the mystery of Fenghuan Wuchen, his internal strength became pure, and he advanced to the middle stage of the 4th stage. He could only be considered as a half step to the middle stage of the 4th stage. Divinity add 1. Divinity add 1. Just as Chen Ronghuo took out the divine attributes from Chang Soon-ping's Lord statue one by one, Chang Soon-ping jumped and landed at the highest point in Beiwu City. He looked at Beiwu City, which was in ruins, and suddenly said, "From today, Beiwu City will be under the jurisdiction of Lushwiven Town." As Chang Soon-ping spoke, all the townspeople in Beiwu City looked up in astonishment and looked at Chang Soon-ping. Chang Soon-ping suppressed his emotions, swept his eyes over everyone, and said in a deep voice, "Next, all of us in the Chang Soon family will worship under the command of Lord Chen of Lushwiven Town." Huh! Everyone in Beiwu City was surprised. Although many people had expected this. But when Chang Soon-ping said it himself, the people of Beiwu City still showed bitterness. During this period, although Greenwater Bay Town has developed rapidly, as the only city on the entire White Fog Island, the people of White Fog City naturally have their own pride. But today, their pride is completely over. The residents of White Fog City talked about it. "We, Beiwu Island, joined Greenwater Bay Town and regarded Chen Ronghuo of Greenwater Bay Town as our leader. I wonder what Chen Ronghuo will do to us. I heard that Chen Ronghuo of Greenwater Bay Town treats all the people equally, but I don't know if it's true or not. We are different from others after all." Boom! At this moment, accompanied by a loud noise, Chen Ronghuo stirred the clouds in the sky with the power of his soul, condensing them into a huge white fog clone that looked a bit like himself. The white mist clone stood in the void, slowly turned his head, and looked at the residents of White Mist City. The white mist clone said in a muffled voice, "From today on, I am the master of Black and White Mist Island. Anyone who respects me will be protected by me. I heard that the Lord personally led the team to attack White Mist City today, and I don't know what the result is. The Lord is powerful. Now the entire Black and White Mist Island is only missing White Mist City. There should be no problem for him to go there personally this time. It's hard to say. I heard that there are several 4th level practitioners in White Mist City now. Is this true? How could there be so many 4th level practitioners in Beiwu City? This was spread by Lord Xiaoruo himself, so it must be true. It's a troubled time. Have you all seen those blue lightning thunderbirds in the sky? I also heard that the reason why these blue lightning thunderbirds don't eat for such a long time is because they hunt on a fixed day every year. Now, it's not far from the time when those blue lightning thunderbirds hunt. You all know how terrifying those blue lightning thunderbirds are. I don't know if our Greenwater Bay Town can handle it when they hunt." At this moment, the entire Greenwater Bay Town, as well as the towns with Greenwater Bay Town as the core, are all talking about it. But few people know that the person behind the lies that there are several 4th level practitioners in Beiwu City and the blue lightning thunderbirds will hunt is Chen Ronghuo himself. For many forces, the stronger the enemy, the stronger their cohesion. Because if you don't stick together, you can't keep warm. At the same time, defeating a powerful enemy can build confidence much more than defeating a weak enemy. Chen Ronghuo's move was to quickly unite the hearts of the people in Greenwater Town. Boom boom boom. The earth shook. Just as everyone was talking about it, Chen Ronghuo led the army to Beiwu City and quickly returned from Beiwu City. Report. Before the army entered the city, the messenger had already taken a step ahead and sent the news back. The Lord personally led the army and captured Beiwu City without losing a single soldier. Long live the Lord, long live Greenwater Bay Town. Long live the Lord, long live Greenwater Bay Town. In an instant, the entire Greenwater Bay Town roared with excitement. Beiwu City surrendered. No one expected that the powerful Beiwu City would surrender so quickly. In particular, Chen Ronghuo led his army to attack Beiwu City without losing a single soldier, which shocked everyone. As for the families of the soldiers going to the war, they were extremely excited. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 308. After the army returned, Chen Ronghuo, who had been prepared for this, immediately ordered the whole territory to celebrate. At the same time, this day was also designated as the day of the unification of Black and White Mist Island. Every year at this time, it is celebrated. However, the day after the celebration, under the order of Chen Ronghuo, rumors about the upcoming hunting of the Blue Lightning Thunderbird spread widely on Black and White Mist Island. Many people looked up and saw the terrifying thundercloud storm in the sky and the Blue Lightning Thunderbird flying through the storm, and they were terrified. I heard that Lord Xiao mentioned to someone yesterday that the Blue Lightning Thunderbird will hunt in the next 2 days. I also heard about this. I heard that those Blue Lightning Thunderbirds are descendants of some ancient tribe. They are the peak tribe of the 4th level. When they are angry, they can summon the power of the ancient Thunderbird King. It is extremely terrifying. Under Chen Ronghuo's deliberate arrangement, Black and White Mist Island fell into fear in a short time. When everyone went out, they would subconsciously look up at the Blue Lightning Thunderbirds in the sky, fearing that they would swoop down and start hunting the next moment. This situation lasted for 4 days. 4 days later, the side effects of the 5 people from the Changsun family taking the green blood pill disappeared. At the same time, the fear of the people in the Green Water Bay Town territory also reached its limit. Dong dong dong. Dong dong dong. On this day, without any signs, a huge drum sound suddenly sounded in Green Water Bay Town. When the drum sounded, a huge monster suddenly emerged from the green water outside Green Water Bay Town. Clang! The huge monster knocked its 2 huge black and white pincers, and a loud noise sounded immediately. In the loud noise, rolling 2-color fog instantly enveloped the entire Green Water Bay Town. A man with white hair walked out of a low-key mansion next to the Lord's mansion in Green Water Bay Town. The man waved his hand, and 4 large tripods of various colors flew out in an instant. The radiance of the big tripod flowed, capturing the black and white fog covering Green Water Bay Town, and condensed it into a huge formation diagram, rising into the sky, completely isolating Green Water Bay Town from the sky. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At the same time, one figure after another, like a cannonball, rose from the ground. Chen Ronghuo, the 5 people of the Changsun family, Wang Chao, Ho San, Long Fi Hung, Long Fi Feng, Wen Jingluo, etc., were among them. In the past few days, after meeting Changsun Zhengzin, the 5 people of the Changsun family have begun to truly integrate into Green Water Bay Town. They get along well with some people in Green Water Bay Town. Chirp whoosh whoosh. In the distance, a large group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds in the Blue Thunderstorm saw the scene and immediately showed anger. In a blink of an eye, the Blue Lightning Thunderbird group separated a large group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds and killed them. Here they come. Wang Chao and others all showed cautious expressions. Chen Ronghuo proposed to kill the Blue Lightning Thunderbird group, and they all supported it. However, they all knew how powerful the group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds was, so they all knew that there would definitely be a tough battle next. Below, the black and white formation diagram separated the sky from Green Water Bay Town. But at this moment, the people of Green Water Bay Town raised their heads, and strangely they could see the large group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds attacking from the sky through the formation diagram. What's going on? Have the group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds started hunting? It doesn't seem right. Why do I feel like the Lord and his men took the initiative to attract the Blue Lightning Thunderbirds? Don't worry about whether it's right or not, I just hope that the Lord and his men can hold on. The huge movement attracted everyone out. Seeing the group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds attacking, everyone in Green Water Bay Town showed a worried look. At the same time, the people in the towns around Green Water Bay Town, seeing this scene from afar, also felt a sense of fear. 9 arrows in a row. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, before the Blue Lightning Birds approached, Wang Chao bent his bow and shot 9 blood-colored arrows in succession, like 9 blood-colored dragons. Wherever the arrows passed, a large number of Blue Lightning Birds screamed miserably. In the blink of an eye, 9 arrows opened 9 long blank areas in the attacking group of blue lightning birds. After such a long period of cultivation, Wang Chao, who had already reached the peak of the 3rd level, finally broke through to the early 4th level not long ago. After the breakthrough in cultivation, his archery skills became even more sharp. Changsun Wuju, Changsun Lianzhang. The Changsun family had just joined Chen Ronghuo's army and was eager to make merit. Not willing to be outdone, the 3 brothers Changsun Ping, Changsunan, and Changsun Sheng attacked together, raising their palms and slapping forward. In the blink of an eye, the huge palm prints slapped by the 3 people were actually connected into one. It was like a sea of palm prints, suddenly surging and rushing towards the group of blue lightning birds. Before this, few people knew that the 3 brothers of the Changsun family could only be considered average in combat power. But when the 3 brothers joined forces, their strength would soar. And this was also one of their trump cards to deal with Chen Ronghuo before. Boom! Under the bombardment of the sea of palm prints, a large number of blue lightning birds died immediately. Seeing this scene, the remaining blue lightning birds immediately screamed in fear and wanted to escape, but just as they turned around, a grey and sharp sword light came out from Chang Sun Yi's hand in the distance, and after a sweep, all the remaining blue lightning birds were swept down. As this large group of blue electric thunderbirds died, treasures immediately burst out from the bodies of the dead blue electric thunderbirds in the sky. Chen Ronghuo stood among a group of subordinates with a distant look. At this moment, the power under his command has roughly taken shape. Chirp! At this moment, the blue electric thunderbird king in the distance saw a large number of blue electric thunderbirds dead, and immediately let out a sharp and piercing cry. Then its blue wings vibrated, connecting its power with countless blue electric thunderbirds. Deep in the bloodline of the clan, the power of the ancient Thunderbird King was summoned. A huge blue Thunderbird shadow enveloped the group of blue electric Thunderbirds. It seemed that the entire flock of blue lightning Thunderbirds had been blurred, making it look like a huge bird-shaped lightning, heading straight towards Chen Ronghuo and others. For a group of blue lightning Thunderbirds, the distance of tens to hundreds of miles can be covered almost instantly. I curse, the ancient power will surely dissipate. I curse, everyone cannot be united. Chen Ronghuo held the pearl of disaster and slowly cursed. After the curse was issued, a huge and invisible force came, immediately weakening the ancient power that enveloped the group of blue electric thunderbirds. 9 arrows in one. Dynasty shot 9 bloody arrows again. But this time, the 9 arrows he shot were all powerful and united into one, boundless and powerful. Changsun Lianzhang. Changsun Yujian. Ape Magic Stick. Dan Fire Divine Flame. At the same time, all Chen Ronghuo's men also took the opportunity to use their strongest attacks. Boom! There was a huge vibration, like the sky collapsing. The Blue Lightning Thunderbirds group, led by the Blue Lightning Thunderbird King, did not expect that their hunting target this time would be so powerful. They were all stunned in the attacks. What makes them especially desperate is that the power of the ancient Thunderbird King they summoned this time is too weak for some unknown reason. In an instant, countless blue lightning birds died in this wave of attacks. Countless treasures fell from the sky. Kill, kill, kill. Earth-shaking roars came and went. After the first wave of attacks, many people rushed into the group of blue electric thunderbirds and started a fierce fight with them. But at this moment, Chen Ronghuo quietly fell down. He had killed enough blue electric thunderbirds with just that blow. He has completely stabilized his warlock cultivation level to the mid-4th level. After a large number of blue electric thunderbirds were killed, the group level of the blue electric thunderbirds dropped significantly. He could deal with it with just his men without him taking action again. Ho! Long live the Lord! Long live Greenwater Baytown! After a few minutes, the battle was completely over. All the blue lightning thunderbirds were completely killed. After countless treasures were dropped, the citizens of Greenwater Bay Town immediately let out a loud roar. Seeing this scene, Chen Ronghuo smiled slightly. Obviously, the lies he told in the past few days have worked. The more you suppress it, the more violent it will be when it is released. At the same time, the incomparably powerful group of Blue Lightning Thunderbirds was cleared away by him in just a few minutes. This will obviously build strong confidence in the hearts of everyone in Greenwater Bay Town. This will prevent them from lacking confidence like before when they encounter danger in the future. At the same time, such people will obviously bring more power of faith to Chen Ronghuo. Time passes slowly. In the blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. In 2 months, Chen Ronghuo selected a large number of management talents on Black and White Kiri's Hima, and let these management talents perform their respective duties. In this way, he had completely built up Black and White Kirishima's frame. Call. On this day, Chen Ronghuo stood in front of his lord's statue. With a thought in his heart, he took out all the power of faith that the lord's statue had accumulated in the past 4 months since he last left Greenwater Bay Town. The lord's statue absorbs the power of faith and fuses the power of faith generated every day in the territory into one purity. Then store the power of faith of different purity in separate compartments. Therefore, because Lushwiven Town has developed quite well during this period, Chen Ronghuo has gained a lot of relatively pure power of faith. It's time to return to the Holy Tiger faction. Chen Ronghuo felt the powerful power contained in his body and murmured to himself. 2 months is not a short time. It's time for him to return to the demon-sealed land and show his face. In the past 2 months, he has not been idle. After 2 months of practice, he had improved his martial arts cultivation based on the Immortal Demon Sutra and lower Danshin to the mid-4th level. Then, after making some arrangements, he came to the green water outside the town of Greenwater Bay. How about it? Can it be done? Chen Ronghuo held the fat cat, stood in front of the big river crab, touched its huge pliers and said. After this period of familiarity, Dehi Crab has mastered most of Black and White Kiri's Hima. Now, Chen Ronghuo asked the big river crab to try to control the Black and White Kiri Island and slow down its approach to Qinghuo Island, Ji Iceland, and Baishan Island thousands of miles away. Master, don't worry, as long as I'm here, within 5 years, our Black and White Kiri's Hima will never come close to those 3 islands. Dehi Crab promised solemnly. 5 years is enough. A smile appeared on Chen Ronghuo's face. With 5 years of buffer time, he can fully improve his cultivation to the peak of the 4th level. By then, with the development of Greenwater Bay Town, it is entirely possible to produce enough pure faith power to allow him to break through to the 5th level in one fell swoop. In fact, it may not even take 5 years. Whoosh! With a thought in his mind, Chen Ronghuo hugged the fat cat and walked into the 2-world passage opened by the big river crab. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 309. Early morning, Holy Tiger Sect. In Chen Ronghuo's huge courtyard. Qin Duanwen, Tao Yuking and other servants were all using the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist together. On the surface they are the same as the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist fought by Chen Ronghuo. But in reality, as handymen, the boxing techniques they used were just simplified versions of the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist. This simplification is not a simplification in form. Rather, it is simplified in the method of visualization. Not only that, the outer disciples and inner disciples of the Holy Tiger sect also have different visualization methods when practicing the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist. After Chen Ronghuo returned to the Holy Tiger sect, he tidied up his secret room and walked out. He stood far away and waited for a moment. After Qin Duanwen and others finished their boxing exercises, they stepped forward. Senior brother, you are out of seclusion. Seeing Chen Ronghuo, Qin Duanwen, and Tao Yuking immediately led a group of servants and bowed to greet Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo nodded. Then his eyes fell on Qin Duanwen, Tao Yuking, and others, and he said calmly, "How about it, during the time I am in seclusion, will anything big happen to the sect?" Qin Duanwen raised his head and said, "Senior brother, two major events have happened in the Holy Tiger sect in the past 2 months. One is that our 5-sect alliance, as well as Tiangu territory, Demon Dragon territory, Xianming sect, Zhenling city, and the 5 major forces in the north, have jointly decided to advance the next exchange meeting of core disciples to 4 years later." Core disciple exchange meeting? Chen Ronghuo's thoughts moved slightly. He already knew at this time that the core disciple exchange meeting would determine the order in which the 5 major forces would select disciples in the Kongshan Forest Sea. To a certain extent, it determines whether the sect can have strong new blood to join. It's just that originally, the core disciple exchange meeting was held only once every 10 years. 4 years later, that's not bad. Chen Ronghuo nodded slightly. The core disciple exchange meeting, as the name suggests, is where the core disciples of the major forces communicate and learn from each other. The core disciples of each major force are among the best among practitioners at the same level in terms of talent and strength. If he could collide with these people in an exchange meeting 4 years later and suppress them below, he would probably be able to get a large wave of feedback from the law of calamity from heaven and earth. After all, the so-called exchange of ideas is competition. At that time, he only needs to restrain all those who compete with him. One more thing, Qin Duanwen continued, not long ago, Tianming, the core disciple of Black Tiger Peak, was killed by a disciple of Shenhu clan while performing a mission outside. The master of Black Tiger Peak is furious and is searching for the stronghold of Shenhu Gate. Divine Tiger Gate? Chen Ronghuo's mind moved slightly, and he remembered the introduction about the Shenhu sect that he had seen in the introduction to the sect. The founder of Shenhu sect was Wu Long, a traitor who betrayed the Shengu sect 500 years ago. Wu Long and his followers have been secretly fighting against the Holy Tiger section. However, no one knows about the Shenhu sect's lair, so the Holy Tiger sect has never been able to take down Wu Long. Perhaps Chen Ronghuo thought that by using ancient books, he might be able to figure out where the Shenhuman's lair was. Once he figures out Shenhuman's lair, it will definitely be a great achievement. It was just that he had just joined the Holy Tiger sect, and he had never even gone out once before. It was very inappropriate to calculate the location of the Holy Tiger sect and hand it over to the sect like this. Is there anything else? Shaking his head, Chen Ronghuo looked at the 2 men again. Senior brother, Tao Yuking said, there are some core disciples in each peak of the sect, and they organize small exchange meetings with each other. When I was receiving sect benefits last month, the handyman disciples working under core disciples such as Demon Tiger Peak Yu Changsan, Daihu Peak Bahaishian, and Baihu Peak Lu Su all asked me to tell my senior brother that if he had time, he could go and have a chat with those people. Small exchange meeting? Chen Ronghuo thought about it briefly and realized that this should be the small circle among the core disciples of the Holy Tiger sect. He thought for a while and said, "Don't worry about this matter. I will go to the Holy Tiger secret realm to practice in seclusion next. I don't have much time to communicate with them." The Holy Tiger secret realm is one of the benefits for core disciples. Practicing inside will help you practice the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Kung Fu. Every core disciple has a chance to enter the Holy Tiger secret realm for free once a year. Chen Ronghuo went there this time with the intention of trying to practice the Holy Tiger Mad Demon Kung Fu to the 14th level in the Holy Tiger secret realm, and in one fell swoop advance the Zongdanshan to the mid-4th level. Go to the Holy Tiger secret realm for retreat? When Qin Duanwen, Tao Yuking and other servant disciples heard this, their expressions froze slightly. Retreat. 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 Now they all feel like their heads are buzzing. I feel like since I followed Chen Ronghuo has never done anything else. In addition to practicing in seclusion every day, I practice in seclusion. There are very few true martial arts idiots who devote all their energy to cultivation, but Chen Ronghuo went into retreat time and time again, and the handyman disciples such as Qin Duanwen and Tao Yuking all regarded him as that kind of true martial arts idiot. In addition, at this time, Chen Ronghuo looked at the disciples with slightly stiff expressions in front of him. After pondering for a while, he slowly said, "Diligence can make up for weakness. Although you are not talented, under my hands, as long as you work hard, you will definitely be good in the future. Can achieve something. Senior brother, don't worry." All the handyman disciples lowered their heads and agreed. But in their hearts, they obviously didn't care much. They can stand out from many handyman disciples, and no one lacks hard work. But sometimes, hard work is not everything. For low-level practitioners, resources and talents are as important as hard work. Without these two things, no matter how hard you work, it will be useless. And this is why they used to compete to follow the core disciples. But now it seems. Looking at the expressions of the disciples, Chen Ronghuo spoke again, "I told you before that if you follow me, I will definitely reward you generously." Having said this, Chen Ronghuo paused, and then set his eyes on several of the 22 disciples in front of him, Qin Duanwen, Tao Yuking, Guan Yuping, Xu Sheng, Yao Haoshan. You 5 have performed well during this period, and I hope you can continue to work hard. When I finish this retreat, I will see your performance and give you rewards. Chen Ronghuo knew that after ignoring these menial disciples for so long, it was time to give them some benefits. And for him who has the ancient book in his hand, it is also easy to know the degree of hard work of these disciples during this period. Qin Duanwen, Tao Yuking, and others all opened their mouths slightly and showed surprise when they heard this. After such a long time, Chen Ronghuo did not mention the reward, which was completely different from other core disciples, and they had already despaired. But they did not expect that after 4 months, Chen Ronghuo finally spoke. Although, if they want to get the reward, they have to wait until Chen Ronghuo's retreat is over. But having hope and having no hope are different after all. Among the crowd, especially Qin Duanwen and Tao Yuking, the miscellaneous disciples nominated by Chen Ronghuo, showed a little excitement on their faces. Thanks to book friend 201701210113465558 for the 1000 coin reward, and 201702162205521224 for the 500 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 310. Each core disciple's courtyard has 2 teleportation arrays. One teleportation array leads directly to the sect's square. Generally, when a sect issues a call for a meeting, the disciples who receive the message must go to the sect's square. Another teleportation array leads to the Holy Tiger secret realm. Chen Ronghuo, holding the core disciple token, arrived at the teleportation array and activated it. In a flash, he disappeared from the spot and came to the Holy Tiger secret realm. After Chen Ronghuo left, the group of errant disciples who followed him, especially the errant disciples who Chen Ronghuo said would be rewarded after the retreat, looked at each other with expectations on their faces. Chen Ronghuo is a 4th-level cultivator, and his strength is far beyond their imagination. Even if Chen Ronghuo has just joined the Holy Tiger sect, a little bit of something in his hand can make them all bulge. At the same time, because of what Chen Ronghuo said just now, the other errant disciples also had great ambitions at this time. Holy Tiger secret realm. Swish. Chen Ronghuo's figure flashed and appeared in the Holy Tiger secret realm. The entire Holy Tiger secret realm was shrouded in a golden and red light. The outer circle was golden, and the inner circle was red. It was unknown how big it was. The Holy Tiger secret realm was opened up by the first generation of the Holy Tiger sect's ancestor, who invited a 9th level formation master. After the death of the first generation of the ancestor, the Holy Tiger secret realm has always been guarded by the sect's sacred beast. Each generation of the Holy Tiger who sits in the Holy Tiger secret realm is called the Holy Tiger Lord. The Holy Tiger Lord of this generation has reached the peak of the 8th level. However, it can use the power of the Holy Tiger secret realm to exert strength comparable to that of a 9th level cultivator. At the same time, the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect can also speed up their comprehension of the Holy Tiger crazy magic by practicing in the Holy Tiger secret realm. After Chen Ronghuo was teleported here, he appeared directly on the teleportation square of the Holy Tiger secret realm. Because the strongest fighting force of the sect is here, there are only a dozen symbolic guards with low cultivation in the teleportation square. Chen Ronghuo swept his eyes and found that apart from these guards, there was no disciple nearby. Only in the area covered by golden red light in the distance, some disciples could be vaguely seen. The cultivation of those disciples was different. In general, the higher the cultivation, the deeper the position, that is, the higher the cultivation was in the position with more red light of the Holy Tiger bloodline law. The Holy Tiger secret realm was built on the foundation of the Divine Blood Array. All the 4th level and above practitioners who died in the 230,000 years since the establishment of the Holy Tiger sect were buried in the Holy Tiger secret realm. Under the effect of the Divine Blood Array, the bloodline laws condensed by these practitioners during their lifetime can be transformed into the light of the Holy Tiger bloodline law. The speed of the practitioners who practice the Holy Tiger crazy demon art in the light of the Holy Tiger bloodline law will be greatly increased. The light of the Holy Tiger bloodline law contains a strong pressure. The deeper it is, the stronger the pressure. But the more bloodline laws it contains, practitioners who practice other laws will be excluded in it. After identifying the properties of the golden and red light in the distance, Chen Ronghuo raised his eyebrows and walked forward. He now has a total of 6 laws, including the law of disaster, the law of tribulation, the law of fire, the law of immortality, the law of bloodline, and the law of contract. In this case, the Holy Tiger secret realm is not friendly to him at all. Ta-ta-ta. After a few dozen steps, he stepped into the golden and red light area with 1 foot. Behind him, more than a dozen guards cast their eyes on Chen Ronghuo, but no one spoke. These people have low cultivation, but they have all received strict training. When guarding here, they will not talk about anything casually. Not bad. A pressure acted on Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo felt it, nodded slightly, and then continued to walk deeper. After a dozen steps, a figure who was playing the Holy Tiger crazy fist appeared in front of him. Chen Ronghuo glanced over and knew through the identification technique that this was an inner disciple of the Holy Tiger sect. As he passed by the disciple, he nodded to him and continued to go deeper. Inner disciples can also enter the Holy Tiger secret realm. But generally speaking, they need to use a lot of contribution points to get the opportunity to enter. Seeing Chen Ronghuo, the disciple who was practicing boxing was startled and nodded to him quickly. Chen Ronghuo's clothes, the Holy Tiger mark between his eyebrows, and the core disciple token hanging around his waist all made the disciple feel awe-inspiring. For the inner and outer disciples of the Holy Tiger sect, the biggest thing that has happened in the past 6 months is that the sect has newly promoted 2 core disciples who have condensed the Holy Tiger mark. After becoming a core disciple, although Jihao did not appear often, he also appeared in public places 7 or 8 times in more than 4 months, so many disciples knew Jihao. Only Chen Ronghuo, who has been a disciple for more than 4 months, has almost never appeared in public places, which makes him extremely mysterious. I don't know what realm this person has cultivated to. The inner disciple showed curiosity in his eyes. Chen Ronghuo could tell the realm of this inner sect disciple at a glance, but because of his low cultivation, this inner sect disciple could not tell Chen Ronghuo's realm. Chen Ronghuo continued to go deeper. After passing this inner sect disciple, he would meet a disciple every time he walked a distance. Most of these disciples were inner sect disciples. At the same time, like the previous disciple, most of the disciples showed curiosity when they saw Chen Ronghuo. I saw the sixth disciple of Beihu Peak, Xuanhuan, come here. Xuanhuan has already cultivated to the peak of the 4th level. It is very likely that he will be promoted to the 5th level within 10 years. Yes, Beihu Peak, is it true that Beihu Peak will have 5 true disciples this time? Some disciples communicated with each other through voice transmission. Among the 12 true disciples of the 13 peaks of the Holy Tiger sect, 3 are from Beihu Peak. Now Xuanhuan has cultivated to the peak of the 4th level, and with the addition of Chen Ronghuo, Beihu Peak has become very popular in the Holy Tiger sect and is discussed almost every moment. Chen Ronghuo didn't know what these disciples were talking about. He walked forward step by step. The huge pressure acted on him, as if a huge tiger was staring at him with a pair of eyes, looking down at him from above, preventing him from moving forward. He possessed many laws, and the pressure he received in the Holy Tiger secret realm was far greater than that of others. And the further he went, the greater the pressure he was under. However, because the deeper he went, the more intense the light of the blood law of the Holy Tiger became, and the greater the effect on comprehending the Holy Tiger's crazy magic, so he could only move forward under pressure. Swish. Just as Chen Ronghuo continued to move forward, a ray of light flashed on the transmission square of the Holy Tiger secret realm, and another figure appeared here. This figure was handsome, with a pair of slightly golden eyes, giving people a sharp feeling. After entering the Holy Tiger secret realm, he glanced at it, and without stopping, he walked straight to the golden and red light in front. It's Ji Hao. When this figure passed by, some disciples saw him and opened their mouth slightly. It was not uncommon for Ji Hao to appear here. What was strange was that Ji Hao actually appeared here on the same day as Chen Ronghuo. Ji Hao, who possesses the Golden Tiger Divine Body and has also condensed the Holy Tiger Seal, became a core disciple on the same day as Chen Ronghuo, and appeared in the Holy Tiger secret realm almost at the same time as Chen Ronghuo. This is undoubtedly a very eye-catching thing. I actually didn't expect that a pirated book friend came to Kidian to give 3,000 coins. Thank you for your support. I have been away from home for a while. The environment is too bad. I will go home tomorrow night and the update speed will be restored the day after tomorrow at. Thanks to Night Raid on Widow Village, Chrysanthemum Residue for the 3,000 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Depang. Chapter 311. After entering the area covered by the golden and red light, Ji Hao went straight to the depths. However, when he met other disciples, he would pause for a moment, smile and nod to them, showing his amiable attitude, and then continue to move forward. Ji Hao is here. I wonder who can go deeper, him or Chen Ronghuo. Some disciples saw Ji Hao and thought of Chen Ronghuo who came in first, and they all showed their expectations. No disciple of the Holy Tiger sect has been able to condense the Holy Tiger seal for 1,000 years. This time, 2 appeared directly, and everyone would compare these 2 prides together. However, I heard that Chen Ronghuo, who has never shown his face since entering the Holy Tiger sect, has only reached the early stage of the 4th level. In 4 months, he switched to the Holy Tiger crazy demonic skill. Even with Chen Ronghuo's talent, he is afraid that he can only practice to the early stage of the 4th level at most. If he wants to compete with Ji Hao, he will probably be inferior. There are also some people who have flashing eyes and make guesses in their hearts. Everyone has a gossipy heart, but it varies in degree. Even practitioners are no exception. After all, no matter how powerful a practitioner is, he is still a human being. Even a god-level practitioner is only more powerful, and will not erase a person's personality. Of course, this excludes practitioners like Changsun Zhengzin. The deeper he went, the more Ji Hao frowned. For some reason, he always felt that the way other people looked at him was a little different. It was like a large group of people watching a rare monkey. My talent is strong, but practitioners who can come to the Holy Tiger secret realm to practice, even if they are just peripheral practitioners, are considered geniuses in the Holy Tiger section. Why do they all look at me like this? Ji Hao radiated the power of his soul and carefully checked himself, but he did not find any problems with himself. Since there is no problem with me, then. Ji Hao looked up and looked forward. In front of him, blurry figures covered by golden and red light appeared in his eyes. His eyes swept over the cultivators one by one, and finally, a figure wearing a black and red robe appeared in his eyes. Among all the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect, except for the true disciples, only he who had condensed the Holy Tiger seal and Chen Ronghuo who condensed the Holy Tiger seal with him were qualified to wear any clothes at will. All other disciples had to wear the standard clothing of the sect. I see. Ji Hao raised his eyebrows. He recognized Chen Ronghuo at a glance. After recognizing Chen Ronghuo, a golden light flashed in his eyes, as if he had performed some kind of secret technique, and instantly passed his eyes through many obstacles, breaking through the illusion, and saw Chen Ronghuo's cultivation. Mid-level 4. After a moment, Ji Hao's eyebrows condensed. 4 months ago, Chen Ronghuo was only in the early stage of the 4th level, but now, Chen Ronghuo has cultivated to the middle stage of the 4th level. No. Suddenly, Ji Hao's face changed again. The cultivation of cultivators above the 4th level is judged by the power of the law lingering around their bodies. However, Ji Hao observed through secret techniques and found that the power of the law lingering around Chen Ronghuo's body was extremely complex, and there seemed to be several types. However, among the various power of the law surrounding Chen Ronghuo, there was no blood law that reached the middle stage of the 4th level. He swept his eyes and finally found the blood law among the many power of the law around Chen Ronghuo's body. Early stage of the 4th level. With just one glance, Ji Hao judged the level of Chen Ronghuo's blood law power. Chen Ronghuo did not change his cultivation method, but chose to recultivate the cultivation method. Ji Hao took a deep breath. Recultivating the Holy Tiger Crazy Magic Art, he was able to cultivate the Holy Tiger Crazy Magic Art to the 13th level and the blood law to the early stage of the 4th level in just 4 months, which made him feel incredible. In particular, Chen Ronghuo cultivated the blood law to the early stage of the 4th level without using the Holy Tiger secret realm. Talent. Ji Hao gritted his teeth. He always felt that his Golden Tiger Divine Body was a perfect match for the Holy Tiger Crazy Magic skill of the Holy Tiger sect, but this time, he was really hit by Chen Ronghuo. But Ji Hao's eyes flashed. He was a hidden player carefully selected by the Tiangu territory to be sent to the Holy Tiger section. He must have an absolutely strong talent to gain a foothold in the Holy Tiger sect as soon as possible. Entering the Holy Tiger sect but still practicing other skills is just a waste of energy. I still have hope. In his opinion, the first genius and the second genius of the Holy Tiger sect are two completely different concepts. I must compete for the first place. Ji Hao took a step and walked straight forward. To compete for the first place, you must compete for the first place in all aspects. This time, he decided to surpass Chen Ronghuo in the Holy Tiger secret realm. With a flash in his eyes, Chen Ronghuo practiced the power of multiple laws and was rejected in the Holy Tiger secret realm. It is definitely impossible to go deeper than him. One disciple after another was surpassed by Ji Hao. However, even though Chen Ronghuo was his current #1 enemy, he did not forget to nod and smile at him as he passed the inner disciples one by one. Finally, as the disciples were passed by Ji Hao one by one, Ji Hao finally came to where Chen Ronghuo was. At this time, Chen Ronghuo had already felt a strong pressure from the Holy Tiger secret realm. Even though he has integrated a lot of the original power of the Holy Tiger into his body, condensed the Holy Tiger mark, and the power of the blood law has reached the early stage of the 4th level, but after getting here, he still has too much and too complicated power of the law after he has cultivated it. Because of this, the pressure he received was far greater than that of other cultivators. Ji Hao. When Ji Hao came up from behind him, he was slightly startled. Unexpectedly, Ji Hao would come over at this time. It turns out that junior brother Chen is here too. Seeing Chen Ronghuo, Ji Hao immediately showed a look of surprise on his face, as if he was happy to see Chen Ronghuo here. He smiled and said, "After I joined the Holy Tiger sect, I have always wanted to have a good exchange with my junior brother. It's a pity that it's really difficult to meet you, junior brother." His cultivation level is higher than that of Chen Ronghuo, so he calls Chen Ronghuo his junior brother. There is no way. Hearing Ji Hao's words, Chen Ronghuo smiled, "Junior brother, my strength is low, so I can only work harder. Otherwise, with your talent, senior brother, I may never have the hope of catching up with you, senior brother." "Junior brother Chen, you are so humble." Ji Hao shook his head and said with great admiration, "You can practice many kinds of laws and improve your cultivation to the mid-level 4th level in just 4 months. At the same time, you can also master the blood law. When I reach the early stage of cultivation at the 4th level, this kind of talent is really beyond my reach, senior brother. There are many ways to destroy a person." What Ji Hao chose at this time was to let Chen Ronghuo go all the way to the dark side by praising Chen Ronghuo's talent. This is undoubtedly the simplest and most convenient way for him. As long as Chen Ronghuo can keep doing what he wants and practice multiple laws at the same time, his plan will be considered a success. And even if Chen Ronghuo practices multiple laws at the same time and eventually achieves something, he doesn't care. Because when he thought about it, even if Chen Ronghuo achieved something, he didn't know when. By then, he would have already taken the lead and established a firm foothold in the Holy Tiger sect. It's so out of reach, I just got more resources. Chen Rong burst out laughing. He didn't know Ji Hao's purpose. But he didn't speculate. Anyway, for him, all he needs to know is that Ji Hao is the secret son of Tiangu territory, and he should be careful no matter what he does. "Okay, I won't disturb you, junior brother." Seeing Chen Ronghuo's expression, Ji Hao's eyes flashed with a sinister smile that could not be noticed by others, and he said, "Junior brother, you can practice multiple laws at the same time in this position. After staying here for so long, I have to work hard." After saying these words, Ji Hao immediately took steps and continued walking deeper into the Holy Tiger secret realm. The deeper you go in the Holy Tiger secret realm, the faster you can practice the Holy Tiger crazy demon skill. Feeling the tremendous pressure Chen Ronghuo put on him, Ji Hao knew that he had to seize all the time to accumulate advantages. Sacred Tiger Bloodline Rule Add 1. Chen Ronghuo raised his head and looked at Ji Hao's leaving figure. Just when he was thinking about what he should do to expose the secrets of this Tiangu territory and bring huge benefits to himself without arousing suspicion, his left hand suddenly trembled. In the flash of purple light, a message flowed into his heart. The Holy Tiger's Bloodline Law Add 1? Chen Ronghuo had a look of astonishment on his face. In fact, after he entered this golden and red area, he began to try to use his left hand to find some attributes from these golden and red lights. But until Ji Hao arrived, he had not figured out any of his attributes. So much so that he thought that with his current strength, he would not be able to find out the attributes from the light of the Holy Tiger's blood law. "I don't know what the Holy Tiger's bloodline laws are of use to me." Chen Ronghuo's heart moved slightly. After thinking about it, he put his left hand on his eyebrows and began to try to integrate this bloodline law into the secret talisman of the bloodline law deep in his soul. Success. For a moment, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved. After integrating into the bloodline laws of the Holy Tiger, he suddenly found that his understanding of the bloodline laws had improved a little. In this case, the speed of my Holy Tiger crazy demon skill can be accelerated even more. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. But after thinking about it, he felt something in his heart and took out the attributes of the Holy Tiger bloodline law that had just been integrated into his own bloodline law mysterious talisman. After figuring out this attribute, he began to try to integrate this attribute into his body. As the blood law of the Holy Tiger was integrated into Chen Ronghuo's body, his body trembled slightly. He felt that the power of the rule seemed to be a line, and it was actually the original power of the large number of holy tigers that he had integrated into his body. Put it on, and seemed to want to gather it all together. What's going on? Chen Ronghuo was surprised. After thinking for a while, he began to try to calculate using ancient books. Special physiques are formed by the power of laws and the condensation of special forces. Your body has a large amount of the original power of the Holy Tiger. If you incorporate a certain amount of the Holy Tiger bloodline laws, you can form the divine body of the Holy Tiger. Chen Ronghuo opened his mouth slightly when he saw the information he had obtained through calculations in ancient books. Only then did he realize that he could actually create cultivators with special physiques in this way. Of course, there are limits to the attributes that each person can incorporate, so he obviously cannot turn everyone into owners of special physiques. But this is enough. With a thought in his mind, Chen Ronghuo took a few more steps forward. After integrating a Saint Tiger bloodline law attribute into his body, he could clearly feel that the pressure he was under was a little less. In other words, his ability to withstand pressure was a little stronger. The deeper you go into the Saint Tiger secret realm, the more Saint Tiger bloodline laws there are, and the greater the probability that I can find out the attributes from them. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. However, when he thought about it, he was not blinded by greed. Instead, when he felt that he had taken a few steps forward and the strong pressure was acting on him again, he paused and began to slowly perform the Saint Tiger Crazy Fist. Only by performing boxing and finding out the attributes at the same time can you not attract attention. Ji Hao, who had surpassed Chen Ronghuo, felt that Chen Ronghuo had to stop after taking 2 steps forward after being surpassed by him, and a barely perceptible sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. After 4 months of practice, he changed his original technique into the Saint Tiger Crazy technique, and his cultivation level has reached the middle stage of the 4th stage. The gap of a small rank, coupled with the fact that the power of the law that Chen Ronghuo cultivated was too complex and was rejected by the Holy Tiger secret realm, made him extremely confident. He was confident that Chen Ronghuo would definitely not surpass him in the Holy Tiger secret realm. And this point would definitely be spread out. After spreading out, he would be able to get the resource bias of the Holy Tiger sect to a certain extent. This bias might not be too much. But he made up his mind to make the resources of the sect bias towards him more and more like a snowball. Thinking of this, he moved his mind and made a slightly difficult look and continued to move forward. But Chen Ronghuo did not notice Ji Hao's actions. Because Ji Hao was just a passerby and an insignificant person to him. For Chen Ronghuo, the most important thing was to improve his strength. The Holy Tiger Crazy Fist was played in his hand. While he was comprehending the fist method, he tried to continue to touch the Holy Tiger bloodline law from the rich golden light. It seems that the level of the attribute of the Holy Tiger bloodline law is too high. Time passed. This time, he persisted for half an hour and could not find out a single attribute of the Holy Tiger bloodline law. Chen Ronghuo's cultivation is not as good as Ji Hao. In the Holy Tiger secret realm, he did not perform as well as Ji Hao. It's normal. Although Chen Ronghuo has a high talent, the Holy Tiger secret realm is not entirely based on talent. This scene was seen by the Holy Tiger sect disciples in the Holy Tiger secret realm. After looking at each other, they came to this conclusion. Holy Tiger pressure at 1. What they didn't know was that when some people came to this conclusion, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved again. This time, he actually found out a new attribute from the surrounding golden and red light. Holy Tiger pressure at 1? Chen Ronghuo showed a strange look on his face. My left hand can even find this thing? Sorry, I got home late today and wrote slowly, but I finally got home and will speed up the update tomorrow. Thank you for the 1000 coins reward from that year. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 312. What's the use of this coercion attribute? Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. After extracting this attribute from the golden and red light around him, he did not feel the pressure conveyed to him weaken. He knew that this must be because the coercive attribute he had discovered was only a drop in the bucket for the entire Holy Tiger secret realm. I don't know if I can integrate this thing into my body. After integration, what's the use? Chen Ronghuo was thinking while doing boxing. Boom boom boom. The Holy Tiger Crazy Devil Fist was continuously punched out in his hands. Suddenly, he punched out with his left hand and then retracted it. When his body passed by, he integrated the coercive attribute he had just touched into his body. Can. For a moment, Chen Ronghuo's eyes lit up slightly. After this coercion attribute was integrated into his body, he suddenly felt that the pressure on him was reduced. This reduction is different from the feeling when he integrates the sacred tiger bloodline law into his body. After integrating the sacred tiger bloodline law into his body, he felt that the pressure on himself was reduced, as if he was originally a person swimming in the sea, and suddenly got a ship and boarded it. Start using tools and rules to make it easier for yourself. But now, he has integrated the coercive attribute into his body, and it is as if he has suddenly changed from a person to a fish. Are fish still afraid of water? Of course, this statement is somewhat exaggerated. Now Chen Ronghuo has just integrated a coercive attribute into his body. At most, some fish scales have grown on his body. However, with this attribute, it is equivalent to laying a foundation on which high-rise buildings can be built. After feeling that the pressure on himself was reduced again, Chen Ronghuo took a few steps forward without any hesitation. After a few steps, the pressure on him reached its peak again, reaching the limit that he could bear. Boom boom boom. In this position, Chen Ronghuo kept his hands on and used the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist again. Because the pressure was too great, the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist he fired began to deform. In such a state, his speed in comprehending the Holy Tiger Mad Demon Fist will obviously be affected to a certain extent. But for Chen Ronghuo now, understanding the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist has become an incidental purpose for him this time. His first goal was to find out more laws of the Holy Tiger's bloodline from the golden and red light and condense the Holy Tiger's divine body. The Holy Tiger divine body is obviously a special physique that is more suitable for the Holy Tiger Crazy demonic skill than the Golden Tiger divine body. As long as Chen Ronghuo condenses the sacred tiger body, no matter how fast he progresses in the future, it will be justified. Moreover, Ji Hao's cultivation reached the peak of the 4th level before he awakened the Golden Tiger divine body. It was obviously nothing for him to awaken the Holy Tiger divine body at this time. Ho ho ho. As the punches continued, there was a faint roar of a Holy Tiger coming from Chen Ronghuo's body. Chen Ronghuo, what are you doing? In the Holy Tiger secret realm, although the deeper you go, the more laws of the Holy Tiger's bloodline there are, and the greater the effect on understanding the Holy Tiger's mad demonic art. But once you go too deep and reach the limit that you can reach, the pressure will be too great, which will affect your understanding of the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon skill. Most cultivators will look for a node that is most suitable for them, but Chen Ronghuo. He was stimulated by Ji Hao. Ji Hao started at the same time as him, and condensed the Holy Tiger seal with him. Now that he has been surpassed by Ji Hao so much, I'm afraid he has become mentally unbalanced. What's the use of being mentally unbalanced? He's not as good as Ji Hao. If he forces himself forward like this, he's wasting his chance to enter the Holy Tiger's secret realm. It's so irrational. The disciples near Chen Ronghuo, especially those with some attributes, looked at each other and started talking through the sound transmission technique. Some people shook their heads slightly, feeling that Chen Ronghuo was wasting his talents by doing this and it was unwise. Just as time passes. Sacred Tiger Bloodline Rule add 1. Holy Tiger Pressure add 1. One by one, Chen Ronghuo took out the attributes from the golden red light and added them to his body, making him more and more able to withstand the pressure in the Holy Tiger secret realm. As he gets stronger, he will take a few steps forward every once in a while. He moved forward very slowly. But as he was marching slowly, 3 days later, every disciple of the Holy Tiger sect was left behind by him. Finally, a 4th-level disciple appeared not far from Chen Ronghuo. What's going on? Why do I feel that Chen Ronghuo is walking faster and faster? Among the many disciples who were surpassed by Chen Ronghuo, one of them seemed to have suddenly thought of something, and suddenly showed an unbelievable expression. It's indeed going faster and faster. Others also spoke one after another. After most people enter the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, they will stop in front of their ultimate point. If you want to move forward significantly, you can only break through the realm. But Chen Ronghuo is obviously not like this. Chen Ronghuo would stop for a while after taking a few steps. After stopping for a while, continue walking a few steps forward. Everyone couldn't understand what Chen Ronghuo was doing. I remembered. Suddenly, a disciple's eyes lit up and he said, I heard someone said that Chen Ronghuo was like this when he first condensed the Holy Tiger seal. At the beginning, he clearly looked like he was about to lose it. But for some unknown reason, his state changed after a while. Then after a while, he looked like he couldn't hold on anymore. Repeatedly. He didn't know how many times he showed this expression that day. Can it still be like this? Some disciples who had heard about Chen Ronghuo's deeds had their eyes lit up and they also thought of this. The disciples who had never heard of Chen Ronghuo's deeds were even more puzzled. At this time, a disciple suddenly asserted, if I guessed correctly, this Chen Ronghuo must have some very special physique to be like this. So, this time, Chen Ronghuo still has a chance to surpass Ji Hao. A disciple asked. The group of people all looked at each other. At this time, no one dares to make a guarantee. However, everyone did not focus on this for too long. Although they have a heart for gossip, they come to the Holy Tiger secret realm to practice, not to watch the battle between Chen Ronghuo and Ji Hao. So after just a brief discussion, everyone was immersed in their own cultivation. In the past few days, Chen Ronghuo has felt many eyes falling on him, but he has not reacted at all. Of course, this is also because the most important thing for him now is to condense the sacred tiger body. In the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, the deeper you go, the more the laws of the Holy Tiger bloodline and the pressure of the Holy Tiger become around you. But it is precisely because of this that the deeper Chen Ronghuo goes into the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, the faster he can figure out the two attributes. Chen Ronghuo felt that his body was like a little piglet, bulging with a mysterious force that was about to be conceived. His eyes became brighter and brighter, faintly revealing a golden color. It's just a little bit close, just a little bit close. Chen Ronghuo's eyes were burning and he punched. Suddenly, he punched out, and when he retracted his fist, his palm suddenly spread out, and his hot and red eyes seemed to see some mysterious existence through the void. Snap! Chen Rong clasped his hands together. Sacred Tiger Bloodline Rule add 1. This pervert. A few steps ahead of Chen Ronghuo, a newly promoted core disciple of Shahu Peak saw Chen Ronghuo taking a few steps forward every once in a while. In 3 days, he walked all the way from the position where he first entered the secret realm to behind him, and his face immediately became a bit ugly. He and Chen Ronghuo are both core disciples of the Holy Tiger sect, and he even started earlier than Chen Ronghuo. It didn't matter that he was surpassed by Ji Hao, who had a higher cultivation level than him, but now he was surpassed by Chen Ronghuo, who practiced many laws, which really made him unwilling. But no matter how unwilling he was, there was nothing he could do. In the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, you can go as far as you can. There are probably not many people like Chen Ronghuo since the establishment of the Shengu sect. Tap tap tap. Only. Taking a deep breath, and stimulated by Chen Ronghuo, the Shahu Peak disciple finally gave it a try and took a few steps forward. After a few steps, the Holy Tiger crazy demon fist he fired immediately seemed to have a twisted meaning. If Chen Ronghuo can persevere all the way, I will give it a try. His eyes flashed, he was actually shaken by Chen Ronghuo, and he wanted to try, to see if he could also break through the limit of his potential. At the same time, under the complicated thoughts, he even had a desire to win. Thinking that even if he is surpassed by Chen Ronghuo cannot be too relaxed. But Chen Ronghuo didn't even notice this core disciple who was the same as himself. In other words, he noticed it, but didn't take it to heart. In fact, Chen Ronghuo, who focused most of his attention on finding attributes from the golden and red light, thought this disciple had made a breakthrough when he saw his movements. If he hadn't had some free time, he would have wanted to raise his head and congratulate the disciple twice. Finally got it? At this moment, after Chen Ronghuo touched another attribute of the Holy Tiger bloodline law, his face immediately showed a hint of joy. He could feel that he was just one step away from condensing the sacred tiger body. With this thought in his mind, he integrated the newly found attributes into his body during boxing. Buzz. Sudden. As Chen Ronghuo integrated the newly found properties of the Saint Tiger bloodline law into his body, a roar immediately sounded in his body. However, before the sound could reach the outside, it was blocked inside the body by Chen Ronghuo's tight muscles and the power to contract, which locked the pores. Amidst the huge vibrations inside, Chen Ronghuo's eyes narrowed. While continuing to punch the Holy Tiger crazy demon fist, he put his consciousness into his body to watch the changes in his body. In his induction, a strange power grew in the blood deep in his body. Under the change of this power, his body's strength, defense, etc., all increased slightly. It's just that this power seems to be too weak because it has just been born. It seems that it is completely incomparable to Jihao's Golden Tiger Divine Body. Holy Tiger Divine Body, Awakening. Continuing to integrate the Holy Tiger Bloodline Law, practicing the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist, and bathing in the Holy Tiger Bloodline Law will all help the Holy Tiger Divine Body awaken. Chen Ronghuo focused his consciousness on himself and identified his new attributes. Awakening. Chen Ronghuo's mind moved and he understood what was going on. It seems that I need to touch it more. He took a step and walked forward. This time, because he condensed the awakening Holy Tiger Divine Body, he instantly felt that the pressure around him was greatly reduced, and he actually walked forward hundreds of steps at a time. He directly left 3 or 4 Holy Tiger disciples behind. Even from a distance, he could see Jihao's blurred back more than 100 steps ahead through the golden and red light. The core disciple of the Shahu Peak who wanted to compete with him before was stunned to see Chen Ronghuo striding forward and leaving him far behind in one breath. His expression was like that of an abandoned young wife. His face was flushed, and he almost wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. But Chen Ronghuo still knew nothing about this. Holy Tiger Bloodline Law add 1. Holy Tiger Pressure add 1. After moving forward 100 steps at a time, he took out 2 attributes from the Holy Tiger Secret Realm, and his speed increased further. He integrated these attributes into his body, and combined with the awakening Holy Tiger Divine Body, his speed of going deep into the Holy Tiger Secret Realm also increased again. Perversion, it's getting faster again. In the distance, the core disciple of the Tiger Peak, whose mind was completely disturbed by Chen Ronghuo, was watching Chen Ronghuo from afar. When he saw that Chen Ronghuo had walked more than 100 steps in one breath, he started the previous devilish movement rhythm of moving a few steps every once in a while, and even the speed was a little faster. The corners of his mouth twitched uncontrollably. Devilish rhythm. He felt that these words were really suitable for Chen Ronghuo. Thinking of this, he raised his head, and his eyes passed through the golden and red light, and fell on Ji Hao, who was farther away and knew nothing about all this, with a little bit of pity. Chen Ronghuo was still more than 100 steps away from Ji Hao. But he believed that as long as Chen Ronghuo could keep moving forward at this devilish rhythm, no matter how talented Ji Hao was, he would be beaten to pieces by Chen Ronghuo like him. I really hope to see Ji Hao's expression when he finds out that Chen Ronghuo is about to catch up with him. Thinking of this, the core disciple of Shahupeek, who was originally stimulated by Chen Ronghuo, surprisingly regained his balance. He exhaled in one breath, cleared his distracting thoughts, and started practicing again. But every once in a while, he would subconsciously raise his head to see how far Chen Ronghuo was from Ji Hao. 5 steps, 5 steps, 5 steps. And under his attention, Chen Ronghuo really maintained the devilish rhythm at the beginning. Every once in a while, he took 5 steps forward. The distance between him and Ji Hao was getting closer and closer. Gradually from 100 steps to 50 steps. Then from 50 steps to 20 or 30 steps. However, Ji Hao, who was immersed in cultivation, was still unaware of all this. We are catching up. I don't know what kind of physique this Chen Ronghuo has, he is really too strong. Not strong, but abnormal, a monster. Before this, no one thought that Chen Ronghuo could actually catch up with Ji Hao's progress in the Holy Tiger secret realm. At this time, all the disciples near Chen Ronghuo and Ji Hao were already 4th level disciples. And all of them were 4th level late disciples. Although Ji Hao's cultivation was only in the middle of the 4th level, because he had a golden tiger divine body and condensed the Holy Tiger mark, the distance he could go deep into the Holy Tiger secret realm was comparable to that of ordinary 4th level late disciples. But Chen Ronghuo. Practitioners above the 4th level can see that Chen Ronghuo chose to recultivate the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Art. And his current level of the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Art is only the 4th level early stage. In addition, Chen Ronghuo also cultivated a lot of other laws. Under such circumstances, Chen Ronghuo was able to catch up with Ji Hao, which was beyond everyone's expectations. Almost. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. He could sense that his Holy Tiger divine body was about to reach the last step of complete awakening. At this moment, a disciple of Yanhu Peak turned his head and looked at Ji Hao, who knew nothing about Chen Ronghuo's approach. A smile appeared in his eyes, and suddenly he said with emotion, "A new generation replaces the old, Ji Hao, Chen Ronghuo. I really didn't expect that you two have only joined the Holy Tiger sect for a few months, and you can rush here in one fell swoop when you first rush into the Holy Tiger secret realm. Chen Ronghuo, also rushed here, how is it possible?" Ji Hao, who was playing the Holy Tiger Crazy Fist, heard the words of the disciple, and his expression immediately changed slightly. There is still one chapter before 12 o'clock. Thanks to A Game A Dream 2015 for the 1000 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 313. Boom boom boom. Ji Hao's expression changed slightly, but still in the golden and red light, he slowly finished punching the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon. Every time he punches, it will cause the surrounding golden and red lights to vibrate, seeming to resonate with it. Other cultivators, even if they reach the late 4th level, cannot reach his level. After finishing a set of punches, Ji Hao slowly turned his head, and when he saw Chen Ronghuo, who was only 20 or 30 steps away from him, his pupils immediately shrank sharply. 20 or 30 steps away, for practitioners of their level, they can cross it in an instant. If he hadn't been in the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, if he hadn't been immersed in practicing the exercises, Ji Hao would have definitely discovered Chen Ronghuo long ago. Chen Ronghuo. Ji Hao's eyes flashed coldly. It had been 8 days since he entered the Holy Tiger's secret realm. He had no idea that Chen Ronghuo, who had fallen far behind 8 days ago, would actually catch up 8 days later. With a gentle breath, Ji Hao looked at Chen Ronghuo, made a puzzled expression and said, "Junior brother Chen, what are you doing?" At this time, Chen Ronghuo was still using the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist. It was just because of Chen Ronghuo's position and the strong pressure that his punches were slightly deformed. In such a state, you don't need to think about it to know how much mental pressure Chen Ronghuo's soul has endured. Under such great pressure, one can imagine whether Chen Ronghuo's speed in comprehending the Holy Tiger Crazy Demonic skill was fast or slow. At this time, Ji Hao had already raised the threat of Chen Ronghuo in his mind. He could not figure out the purpose of Chen Ronghuo's actions, so he directly explored Chen Ronghuo's secret in front of all his disciples. Even if you can't get the answer in the end, you can still leave a clue in the hearts of other disciples, making them curious about Chen Ronghuo's secret. Senior brother Ji. Chen Ronghuo raised his head when he heard Ji Hao speak. He seemed to have just realized that he had caught up with Ji Hao, showing a hint of surprise. After trying to figure out what Ji Hao was asking, he said honestly, "I don't know what's going on. I just feel like I was the same as when I first accepted the Holy Tiger's gift that day. There is a power in my body. Under the stimulation of these golden and red lights, I want to get out, but I can't get out. However, although this power has not come out, it can greatly reduce the pressure I receive in the Holy Tiger's secret realm. Is there a power within you?" Ji Hao frowned, not knowing whether what Chen Ronghui said was true or false. Sacred Tiger Bloodline Rule Add 1. Suddenly, at this moment, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved, and from the golden and red light, he found an attribute of the Holy Tiger Bloodline Law. Immediately, without any hesitation, he directly integrated this attribute into his body. After incorporating another Holy Tiger Blood Law attribute into his body, and feeling that the pressure on himself was lessened, his heart moved and he suddenly said, "Here we go again." As soon as he finished speaking, his fists clenched quickly. Then he strode forward and took another 5 steps forward. 5 steps later, he reached his limit again. Then he looked at Ji Hao and asked curiously, "Senior brother Ji, did you discover anything just now? I've been through this all the way. It was the sudden surge of power just now that reduced the pressure on me, and I was able to take another 5 steps forward." Hearing Chen Ronghuo ask him, Ji Hao's eyes flashed coldly and said, "Junior brother Chen, don't you have any treasures in your body? I heard that some people are born with treasures in their bodies. Your situation is somewhat similar." After he finished speaking, several disciples around him suddenly looked at Chen Ronghuo with a somewhat strange look. Could it be that there really is some kind of treasure within Chen Ronghuo's body? Several disciples thought about it one after another. Hearing Ji Hao's words, Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed with a deep look. Ji Hao's words were simply heartbreaking. By this time, it was impossible for him not to feel the malice from Ji Hao. Although he knew that several nearby disciples might not be provoked by Ji Hao. But once this matter comes out, he will definitely be in some trouble. Fortunately, he has found a way to explain it. However, we still have to find an opportunity to expose this person's details to the sect. Chen Ronghuo's heart moved slightly and he made a decision. At the same time, he said, "Listen to what you said, Senior brother Ji, maybe it's really possible." Well. When Ji Hao and the surrounding disciples heard this, their eyes suddenly changed slightly when they looked at Chen Ronghuo. Is this person a fool? What Ji Hao just said was very obvious. It's even somewhat inconsistent with the character that Ji Hao deliberately created. But no one expected that Chen Ronghuo would cooperate with Ji Hao in this situation. 3 people become tigers. Once more people discuss this matter, maybe some people will really think that there is some kind of treasure in Chen Ronghuo's body. In this case, it would obviously be very detrimental to Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo has nothing in the Holy Tiger sect yet, but once Chen Ronghuo leaves the Holy Tiger section. Ji Hao cast his eyes on Chen Ronghuo and was puzzled. However, he then changed his words and said, "Junior brother, I was just joking with you. Don't talk nonsense about this matter. Once someone misunderstands." After becoming a bitch, he turned around and started to be a good person again. Hearing Ji Hao's words, Chen Ronghuo sneered in his heart. This Ji Hao, who was chosen as a hidden man by the Tiangu territory, must have been trained. But for him who already knew his foundation, he would obviously not be fooled by him. He shook his head and prepared to continue chatting with Ji Hao. Swish. At this moment, a barely detectable purple light flashed again in the palm of Chen Ronghuo's left hand. Holy Tiger Bloodline Law Add 1. He didn't expect that he would find another Holy Tiger Bloodline Law attribute just after he stepped forward this time. Holding this attribute in his hand, a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. Through the identification technique, he already knew that as long as he integrated this attribute into his body, he would immediately awaken the Holy Tiger Divine Body. Integrate. Chen Ronghuo raised his head and glanced at Ji Hao. Then he directly integrated this attribute into his body without any hesitation. Junior brother Chen, you must remember what I just said to you. In the future, you must never tell others that you have a treasure in your body, otherwise, I will really roar. Suddenly, a deafening tiger roar suddenly came from Chen Ronghuo's body. When this tiger roar came out, a huge golden and red tiger phantom suddenly rushed out of his body, rushed straight into the sky, and circled around him within a few hundred meters, and then returned to his body. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 314. What's going on? The huge tiger roar spread throughout the entire Holy Tiger Secret Realm. The cultivators who came to the Holy Tiger Secret Realm were all here to practice. If it wasn't for an accident, no one would dare to make too much noise here and disturb others' practice. So this deafening tiger roar startled all the cultivators in the entire secret realm. Everyone turned their heads and looked at Chen Ronghuo, the source of the sound. In the depths of the Holy Tiger Secret Realm, which was shrouded in endless golden and red light, there sat an ordinary earthen hill. On the flat top of the earthen hill, there was a thatched house. In front of the thatched house were several stone benches and a stone table. Come on, let's play another game. At this time, a young man wearing a golden robe and a red king character naturally tattooed on his forehead was playing chess with an old man in a black robe. Looking at the young man in golden robe with fiery eyes, the old man in black robe said helplessly, "Master Shengu, there are still some things to deal with in the sect, and I really can't come again. How about this, after I go back, I will call a few more people for you. You are a great elder of the sect, how can you have so many things every day? If there is anything, just let those peak masters deal with it." The young man in golden robe kept mumbling, unwilling to let the old man go. The young man in golden robe is the master of the sect of Shengu sect, the magic needle of Shengu sect. He has a hobby, which is to play chess with others in front of the thatched house he built to imitate some masters. But with his status, it is not good to play chess with people with too low cultivation. So usually, he only focuses on the 3 great elders in the sect and the 13 peak masters. The one playing chess with him at this time is Wu Tianchuo, one of the 3 great elders. Among the 3 great elders and 13 peak masters, his favorite is to play chess with Wu Tianchuo. Because Wu Tianchuo was the only one among the crowd who didn't give him a hand on the chess field, and he could occasionally beat his opponent. Roar. At this moment, a tiger roar suddenly came from a distance and reached the ears of the two. What happened? The two tilted their heads at the same time. The rich golden and red light in the Holy Tiger's secret realm quickly dispersed and thinned like mist in their eyes. In a moment, Chen Ronghuo, wearing a black and red robe, appeared in the eyes of the two. It's the Holy Tiger body. The eyes of the Holy Tiger, which turned into a human form, flashed with gold, and he understood what was going on. The Holy Tiger is actually the name modified by their clan and the Holy Tiger sect itself. Before the establishment of the Holy Tiger sect, their clan was called the Golden-Haired Mad Tiger by practitioners. At this moment, an inexplicable momentum rose from Chen Ronghuo's body. Under this momentum, the golden and red light around his body trembled slightly, as if it was resonating with him. The pressure that originally enveloped Chen Ronghuo was suddenly reduced a lot. Ji Hao, who was talking to Chen Ronghuo, stopped talking. A tiger phantom rushed out of Chen Ronghuo's body, circled around, and returned to Chen Ronghuo's body. This scene was almost the same as when he awakened the golden tiger divine body when he received the Holy Tiger's gift. The only difference was the appearance of the tiger phantom that rushed out of Chen Ronghuo's body. Holy Tiger. Ji Hao carefully recalled the appearance of the tiger phantom that just rushed out of Chen Ronghuo's body, and suddenly found that the tiger phantom was somewhat similar to the Holy Tiger of the Holy Tiger sect. Holy Tiger divine body. Ji Hao's pupils suddenly shrank. His golden tiger divine body was not worse than Chen Ronghuo's Holy Tiger divine body. It was just that his golden tiger divine body was obviously not as compatible with the Holy Tiger crazy magic skill as Chen Ronghuo's Holy Tiger divine body, which was compatible with the Holy Tiger crazy magic skill. After all, the Holy Tiger crazy magic skill is to visualize the Holy Tiger. At the same time, all the disciples who saw the scene also recognized it. They recognized that the tiger phantom that just rushed out of Chen Ronghuo's body was the Holy Tiger of the Holy Tiger sect. No wonder. So that's how it is. I was wondering how Chen Ronghuo could catch up with Ji Hao all the way. It turns out that he actually has the Holy Tiger divine body. The Holy Tiger divine body, this is the divine body that best matches the Holy Tiger crazy magic skill of our Holy Tiger sect. At this moment, one disciple after another was talking about it. The eyes looking at Chen Ronghuo were full of envy and jealousy. The original Chen Ronghuo was already the pride of the Holy Tiger sect. This time he awakened the Holy Tiger divine body. It goes without saying that he will definitely be cultivated vigorously by the sect as a treasure. At the same time, more than 100 meters ahead, a cultivator wearing a green disciple's uniform turned his head after hearing the roar of the tiger and set his eyes on Chen Ronghuo. This disciple had a decent appearance and half long hair, and he was the sixth disciple of Lin Qingtian, Zhan's Haiming. When he saw that Chen Ronghuo had awakened the Holy Tiger body, his face immediately showed some ugliness. In the original White Tiger Peak, he was the most favored because of his lowest cultivation. Whether it was Lin Qingtian, LV Moning, Jin Qingxian, or Peng Yun, they would think of him when they had good things. But with the addition of Chen Ronghuo, this situation obviously changed. So he looked down on Chen Ronghuo from the bottom of his heart. Now that Chen Ronghuo has awakened the Holy Tiger body again, he immediately felt even more uncomfortable. We must find a way to advance to the 5th level as soon as possible. Zhan's Haiming took a deep breath. He is Chen Ronghuo's senior brother. Once Chen Ronghuo advances to the 5th level one step earlier than him, the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect will definitely discuss it. Haha. At this time, Chen Ronghuo suddenly let out a long laugh, looked at Ji Hao who was more than 20 steps in front of him, and said, "Senior brother Ji, it seems that I don't have to worry, I really have treasures in my body," and then he was killed to find treasure. As soon as he finished speaking, his body shook slightly, and he strode into the depths of the Holy Tiger secret realm. Also, in the past 8 days, although I have been in the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, I have not made much progress in understanding the Holy Tiger's mad demon Kung Fu, so I won't accompany senior brother Ji for now. Amid laughter, Chen Ronghuo walked up to Ji Hao and then past Ji Hao. Before awakening the sacred tiger body, he didn't mind spending some time talking to Ji Hoxu. But after awakening the Holy Tiger divine body, considering how precious his time was, how could Ji Hao be worth wasting his time? Of course, the most important thing is that Ji Hao has ill intentions towards him. Chen Ronghuo will not tolerate people who have malicious intentions towards him. Asshole! Ji Hao saw Chen Ronghuo walking past him, and his face became even more ugly when he saw Chen Ronghuo's proud and arrogant expression. This Chen Ronghuo is really going to be prosperous. The other disciples were filled with emotion when they saw Chen Ronghuo moving forward step by step. After a short time, his back was blurred in the golden and red light. Everyone knows that Chen Ronghuo is destined to have a bright future. He knew that if nothing unexpected happened, even if Ji Hao was pregnant with the golden tiger divine body, his future achievements would not be as good as Chen Ronghui. At this time, after Chen Ronghuo walked more than 100 meters forward, he felt huge pressure on himself again. He paused for a moment and had to stop. Not far away, Zhan's Haiming saw Chen Ronghuo stopped a few meters away from him, and his face froze slightly. His cultivation level has reached the peak of the 4th level. Chen Ronghuo has practiced many kinds of laws, but he is able to catch up with him at a deep distance in the Holy Tiger secret realm. One can imagine how big the talent gap between the two is. Congratulations, junior brother. But no matter how unwilling he was, at this moment, as Chen Ronghuo's senior brother, he had to congratulate Chen Ronghuo. Sixth brother, are you here too? Chen Ronghuo raised his head in surprise. Well, I've been here for a few days. Junior brother has just awakened the Holy Tiger divine body. It's better not to say anything and practice as soon as possible. Zhan's Haiming nodded. Me too, entering the Holy Tiger secret realm is a rare opportunity. Let's not waste it. It's time. At this time, something moved in his mind, and he suddenly thought that with Chen Ronghuo's talent, he would definitely achieve extraordinary things in the future. He treats Chen Ronghuo better now, and what he will gain in the future may be dozens or hundreds of times what he has paid for now. For this reason, a few nice words from him are completely insignificant. His thoughts changed. Although he still didn't like Chen Ronghuo, he really started to care about Chen Ronghuo as he spoke. That's what senior brother said. Chen Ronghuo agreed, and then started to perform the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Kung Fu a few meters away from Zhan's Haiming. This time is different from before. Before, he would fight the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist at the limit of what he could bear. So for 8 days, his progress was slow. But this time, he comprehended the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist in a state where he could feel the huge pressure without affecting his comprehension. Chen Ronghuo punched out and clearly felt the difference. Penetrating so far into the secret realm of the Holy Tiger, coupled with the assistance of his newly awakened Holy Tiger divine body and the Holy Tiger seal he had previously condensed, allowed him to comprehend the Holy Tiger Mad Demon Fist far faster than before. Sure enough, sharpening the knife is as good as chopping wood. The previous 8 days were not in vain. While boxing, Chen Ronghuo felt the speed at which he understood the rules, and joy appeared on his face. If he can continue at this speed, in the remaining 22 days, he will definitely be able to practice the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Fist to the 14th level, and advance to the mid-level 4th level in the Danshan. Sacred Tiger Bloodline Rule Add 1. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's left hand flashed with purple light, and he took out another Saint Tiger Bloodline Law attribute. Only this time, he tried to add this attribute to his body, but encountered obstacles. Have you reached your limit after awakening the Holy Tiger Divine Body? Chen Ronghuo shook his head slightly, knowing what was going on. Immediately, he didn't waste it and directly integrated this attribute into the secret talisman of the blood law deep in his soul. With the integration of this attribute, his understanding of the laws of the Holy Tiger's bloodline immediately increased a little. Time passes. The sacred tiger blood law talisman deep in Chen Ronghuo's soul has evolved into more and more complex with his rapid advancement. At the same time, Chen Ronghuo also used the power of his left hand from time to find out some attributes of the Holy Tiger's bloodline laws and the attributes of the Holy Tiger's pressure, and integrated them into himself. But this time, he didn't take a few steps forward every once in a while like before. After awakening the Holy Tiger divine body, if he could still take a few steps forward every once in a while as before, it would be too abnormal and too evil. The late fourth level is coming soon. More than 100 meters behind Chen Ronghuo, Ji Hao cast his eyes on him from afar, his eyes cold. This time he entered the Holy Tiger secret realm just to break through in cultivation. His cultivation level was already higher than Chen Ronghuo's, and he chose to practice the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon Kung Fu, so before the peak of the fourth level, his cultivation speed was much faster than Chen Ronghuo's. When I reach the late fourth level of cultivation, I should be able to surpass Chen Ronghuo, right? Ji Hao thought to himself. Although it would not be of much use if he surpassed Chen Ronghuo in the Holy Tiger secret realm, he was still unwilling to give up. Sudden transformation, Holy Tiger body. At the same time, deep in the Holy Tiger secret realm, on the ordinary mountain, the Holy Tiger of the Holy Tiger sect, a young man in a golden robe, stood up from the stone bench. Even with his 8th level peak cultivation, he was surprised when he saw Chen Ronghuo awaken the Holy Tiger body and then directly move behind Zhan's Haiming. The Holy Tiger body is also divided into levels. In other words, the concentration of Holy Tiger blood in the body of a cultivator who has awakened the Holy Tiger body is high or low. At this time, Chen Ronghuo, while cultivating a large number of miscellaneous laws, was able to ignore the pressure at the level of a 4th level early cultivator and walk all the way to a position that only a 4th level peak cultivator could reach. The concentration of Holy Tiger blood in his body was obviously extremely high. Master Shengu, I wonder how concentrated this boy's Shenguo blood is. Beside him, Wu Tianchuo, one of the 3 great elders of Shengu sect, asked him expectantly. There are also factions in Shengu sect. Lin Qingtian is the leader of Beihu Peak, but he is also a disciple of Wu Tianchuo. In terms of seniority, Wu Tianchuo is Chen Ronghuo's master, so he naturally cares about Chen Ronghuo. After a moment of silence, the young man in the golden robe said, "His blood concentration is higher than mine." Wu Tianchuo was stunned when he heard this. In fact, he had expected this before. But when he really learned about Chen Ronghuo's Shenguo blood concentration from Master Shengu, he took a deep breath. It is not impossible for a fool to give birth to a genius. But the probability is pitifully small. In the cultivation world, this situation is called mutation and atavism. Wu Tianchuo took a deep look at Chen Ronghuo. He knew that this time, a true genius appeared in Shengu sect. Old man Wu. At this time, the young man in the golden robe suddenly said in a deep voice, "You must pay attention to protecting this boy, and you must not lose him. If he grows up, he may be able to use the treasure left by the ancestor." Master Shengu is saying. When Wu Tianchuo heard this, his pupils shrank immediately. The importance he attached to Chen Ronghuo was raised to another level. He naturally knew what the treasure Shengu was talking about. At the same time, he also knew what it meant if Chen Ronghuo could use the treasure left by the ancestor. Time passed day by day. Soon, it was the 26th day that Chen Ronghuo entered the Shengu secret realm. Finally succeeded. On this day, Chen Ronghuo, after continuously comprehending the Shengu Crazy Fist and integrating the Shengu bloodline law attributes into the law talisman from time to time, finally felt the bloodline law talisman he condensed tremble. Then his bloodline law talisman, after reaching its limit, flashed with a flash of light and advanced from the early 4th stage to the middle 4th stage. However, his breakthrough in cultivation was different from the awakening of the Holy Tiger Divine Body. It was silent and almost no one noticed. Chen Ronghuo. At the same time, more than 100 meters behind Chen Ronghuo. After practicing hard for many days, Ji Hao's body shook slightly. He raised his head, his eyes fell on Chen Ronghuo from afar through the rich golden and red light. At this moment, he also broke through to the late stage of the 4th stage silently. There will be another chapter around 12 o'clock, and I will try my best to add more words.